After all these years and all the calls that I've made and all the runaround I've gotten, it took a call to Channel 3 to finally get somebody to do something about this pole.
Wow, an I-team investigation is getting on-the-spot results. The impending nor'easter could bring snow and fierce winds, so tonight we're looking at the stability of utility poles all across the state.
Yeah, a concerned homeowner, as you saw right there in New Hartford, reached out to us about a potentially dangerous situation that some of us may randomly face. Our chief investigative reporter, Matthew Campbell, went looking for answers.
While all eyes are on the impending winter storm, Ira Klein was thinking about the stability of this utility pole.
The summer big storms or the winter storms and the winds blowing, if you look carefully, you can see it move.
5 years ago, this pole on Steel Road in New Hartford was struck by a car.
The house shook. It hit that pole across the street so hard.
It was outfitted with this strap days after.
Kind of like a splint, like you would put on a broken bone.
But that's how it would stay for 5 years, even though a new pole was put up months after the crash.
I figured that they would put up a new pole, then take the old pole down.
Year after year, storm after storm.
There's that pole. If you look carefully, just moving a little bit back and forth.
If you look closely, each pole has a metal plate which reveals the owner. In this case, it's Eversource. Klein called them.
Nobody seemed like they really cared, that this was not on the top of the list.
So we reached out, and what we learned goes for all utility poles in the state. Now, you can see different lines occupying space. These represent different companies. In this case, we had Eversource, Spectrum, and Frontier all sharing space on this pole. Now, they work from top to bottom. Eversource will remove its lines, and then it'll be the responsibility of the next company to do the same until the pole is cleared, and then it can come down. In this case, Eversource and Spectrum did their job. They were just waiting on Frontier.
That there has to be some way that all of these organizations can have some meeting of the mind that, hey, we've got a problem here. We've got to take care of this, all of us now.
Eversource tells us companies share a system that communicates the status of these types of jobs.
Guess who's here?
It just so happened that during our interview, Frontier rolled up to complete the job.
48 hours after that email to you, here they are. Finally, after 5-6 years.
Even though Eversource tended to their part of the pole years ago, they tell us that these things can happen. So if you find yourself in this spot, here's what you need to do. Look at that metal plate, determine who owns the pole, and start making calls. In Klein's case, a few extra calls may need to be made to the other companies who share the space on that pole. You can find that information by calling the phone, cable, or internet providers that service you and your neighbors.
And it just is another example of where it takes somebody to be the squeaky wheel.
In New Hartford, Matthew Campbell, Channel 13 News.